My name is Anna, and I'm a 28-year-old independent fashion designer. Growing up, I always felt like an outsider in my own family, overshadowed by my younger sister Lily, who is now 24. From the moment we were born, it seemed like the world revolved around her. Our parents showered her with love and attention, celebrating her every achievement, no matter how small. In stark contrast, my efforts and dreams often went unnoticed, leaving me feeling unwanted and marginalized. As a child, I would watch my parents dote on Lily, attending her school plays and cheering her on at every soccer game. Meanwhile, I was left to fend for myself, trying to carve out my own path in the world of fashion. I remember one particular moment that encapsulated my feelings of exclusion. I had organized a fashion show to showcase my designs, pouring my heart and soul into it. I was so excited, hoping my parents would finally see me for who I was. But when the day arrived, they didn't show up. Instead, they were busy celebrating Lily's academic achievements at her school. That day, I felt invisible, like a ghost haunting my own life. Despite my efforts to gain their approval, I often felt like I was living in the shadows. I longed for their recognition, but it seemed like no matter what I did, I could never measure up to the golden child Lily. This ongoing dynamic created a deep sense of loneliness within me, a feeling that would only intensify as the years went by. As I navigated my career in fashion, I found solace in my work. I was determined to make a name for myself, to prove that I was more than just Lily's sister. But the road was tough, and the lack of support from my family weighed heavily on my heart. Little did I know, my life was about to take a turn that would challenge everything I thought I knew about family, love, and self-worth. Growing up, the favoritism in my family was palpable. My parents adored Lily, celebrating her every success with enthusiasm that felt like a dagger to my heart. They would often reminisce about her achievements, recounting stories of her winning awards and excelling in school. I would sit quietly, feeling like a mere spectator in my own home, yearning for a moment of recognition. As I entered my teenage years, I began to carve out my own identity as a fashion designer. I spent countless hours sketching designs, sewing outfits, and dreaming of the day I would showcase my work to the world. I organized a fashion show at my high school, pouring my heart into every detail. I wanted my parents to see me, to acknowledge my passion and hard work. But when the day arrived, they chose to attend Lily's soccer game instead. I remember standing backstage, my heart racing with anticipation, only to feel a wave of disappointment wash over me when I spotted my parents cheering for Lily from the bleachers. That moment solidified my feelings of being an outsider. I felt invisible, as if my dreams were mere whispers, drowned out by the loud cheers for my sister. Despite my efforts, I often felt like I was competing against a ghost. Whenever I shared my designs or talked about my aspirations, my parents would nod politely, but quickly shift the conversation back to Lily. "Did you hear about Lily's latest achievement?" they would say, their eyes lighting up with pride. I learned to keep my dreams to myself, burying them deep within, afraid of being dismissed once again. As I graduated high school and pursued my passion for fashion, I found a job at a local boutique. It was a stepping stone, but my parents never seemed to recognize it as a legitimate career. They would often make snide remarks, questioning my choices. "Is this really what you want to do?" my mother would ask, her tone dripping with skepticism. I felt the weight of their disapproval, but I was determined to prove them wrong. In the midst of this turmoil, I met David, a talented photographer who shared my passion for creativity. He was kind, supportive, and saw the potential in me that my family often overlooked. Our friendship blossomed into a romantic relationship, and for the first time I felt truly seen and appreciated. David encouraged me to pursue my dreams, reminding me that my worth was not defined by my family's perception. But as I began to find my footing in the fashion world, the shadows of my family's favoritism loomed larger than ever. Little did I know that the next chapter of my life would bring even more heartache and challenges, testing the bonds of family and love in ways I never imagined. As I settled into my role at the boutique, I found a sense of purpose that had long eluded me. Each day, I immersed myself in the world of fashion, learning the ins and outs of the industry. I spent my evenings sketching designs and dreaming of launching my own line. The thrill of creating something from scratch filled me with joy, and for the first time, I felt like I was on the right path. David was my biggest cheerleader. He would often come by the boutique, bringing me coffee and encouraging me to share my designs with the world. "You have a gift, Anna," he would say, his eyes sparkling with belief. "You need to show everyone what you can do." His unwavering support gave me the confidence to take risks and push my boundaries. One day, I decided to organize a small fashion showcase to present my latest collection. I poured my heart into every piece, determined to make a statement. I invited friends, colleagues, and even a few local influencers, hoping to gain some recognition. But deep down, I wished my family would come, that they would finally see me for who I was and what I could achieve. As the day of the showcase approached, I felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. I reached out to my parents, inviting them to attend. I wanted them to witness my hard work and passion firsthand. But when the day arrived, I received a text from my mother saying they had other plans. "We'll catch the next one, Anna," she wrote, her words feeling like a punch to the gut. Despite their absence, the showcase was a success. People admired my designs, and I received positive feedback from attendees. David was there, capturing every moment with his camera, his pride evident in his smile. I felt a rush of validation, but the joy was bittersweet. I couldn't shake the feeling that my family's absence overshadowed my achievement. In the weeks that followed, I continued to work hard, pouring my energy into my designs. I was determined to make a name for myself in the fashion industry, but the lack of support from my family weighed heavily on my heart. I often found myself questioning my worth, wondering if I would ever be enough in their eyes. As I navigated the challenges of my career, I also found solace in my relationship with David. He was my anchor, always reminding me of my potential and encouraging me to keep pushing forward. We spent countless evenings discussing our dreams and aspirations, and I felt a sense of hope for the future. However, as I focused on my career and my relationship with David, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was brewing on the horizon. Little did I know, the next chapter of my life would bring unexpected twists and turns, testing my resilience and forcing me to confront the painful dynamics within my family. One sunny afternoon, as I was busy preparing for an upcoming fashion event, I received a text from Lily. My heart raced with anticipation. It had been a while since we had a meaningful conversation. I opened the message, and my excitement quickly turned to shock. "Hey, Anna, just wanted to let you know that I'm getting married." The news hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt a whirlwind of emotions, happiness for my sister, but also a deep sense of exclusion. I had always imagined being part of such significant moments in her life, yet here I was, learning about her engagement through a text message. I couldn't help but feel that familiar pang of being left out, a feeling I had grown all too accustomed to. As the days passed, the wedding preparations began in earnest. I watched from a distance as my parents gushed over Lily's plans, sharing every detail on social media. They posted pictures of dress fittings and venue tours, their excitement palpable. I felt like a ghost, haunting the edges of my own family's celebrations, yearning to be included but knowing I was on the outside looking in. I decided to reach out to Lily, hoping to express my excitement and offer my help. "If you need anything for the wedding, please let me know. I'd love to help," I texted, trying to bridge the gap between us. But her response was curt and dismissive. "Thanks, but I've got it all covered." That reply stung. I felt a wave of disappointment wash over me, but I tried to shake it off. I wanted to be happy for her, to support her in any way I could, but as the wedding date approached, I couldn't shake the feeling of being sidelined. Then came the day of the bridal shower. I received an invitation, and for a moment, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was my chance to reconnect with Lily and be part of her special day. I spent hours preparing a thoughtful gift, pouring my heart into it, hoping it would show her how much I cared. When I arrived at the shower, I was greeted with smiles and laughter, but I quickly realized that the atmosphere was charged with an unspoken tension. As the festivities unfolded, I noticed that Lily was the center of attention, basking in the glow of her friends and family. I felt like a spectator, watching from the sidelines as she opened gifts and shared stories. As the day went on, I tried to engage with Lily, but she seemed distant, almost preoccupied. I couldn't help but feel that she was putting up a wall between us. When I finally mustered the courage to ask her about the wedding plans, she brushed me off, saying, "I'll let you know if I need anything." That moment shattered my heart. I had hoped for a connection, a chance to be part of her life, but instead I felt more isolated than ever. I left the shower feeling defeated, the weight of my family's dynamics pressing down on me. Little did I know, the real shock was yet to come. As the wedding day approached, I would soon discover just how deep the rift between us had grown, and the painful truth that would unfold would change everything. A few days after the bridal shower, I received an unexpected call from Lily. My heart raced as I answered, hoping for a friendly conversation. "Hey, Anna," she said, her voice sounding a bit strained. "Can I ask you something about the wedding dress?" "Of course. I'd love to help," I replied, eager to be involved in any way I could. I thought this might be the moment where we could reconnect, where I could finally feel like a sister again. But then her next words left me utterly speechless. "You're not invited to the ceremony," she stated flatly. The air in my lungs seemed to vanish. "What do you mean? I'm not invited," I stammered, trying to process her words. "Lily, I thought we were close. Why wouldn't you want me there?" She sighed, her tone growing colder. "It's just... I don't want my fiancé, Mark, or his family to know about your job. You know how they are about things like that." My heart sank. The reason for my exclusion felt like a slap in the face. "You're excluding me because I work as a freelance designer?" I asked, my voice trembling with disbelief. "That's so superficial, Lily. I can't believe you would do this." "That's just how it is," she replied, her indifference cutting deeper than I could have imagined. "If you really cared about my happiness, you would understand." I felt a wave of hurt wash over me, a mix of anger and sadness. "Have you ever considered my feelings? This is my family too," I pleaded, hoping to reach her, to make her see how deeply her words affected me. But she simply dismissed my concerns, saying, "I'll email you the details about the dress." With that, she hung up, leaving me in a state of shock. I felt as if the ground had been pulled out from under me, leaving me reeling in disbelief. After the call, I sat on my couch, staring blankly at the wall. The weight of her words pressed down on me, and I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. How could my own sister treat me this way? I had always been there for her, supporting her through thick and thin, and yet here I was, cast aside like I didn't matter. In a moment of desperation, I decided to reach out to my parents, hoping they would understand the pain I was feeling. I called them, my heart racing as I explained the situation, but instead of support, I was met with disbelief. My father chuckled, suggesting it must be some kind of joke, while my mother dismissed my concerns, saying, "Lily would never say such a thing." Their lack of belief only deepened my sense of isolation. I felt like I was screaming into a void, my voice unheard and my feelings invalidated. I hung up the phone, tears streaming down my face, feeling more alone than ever. As the wedding day approached, I grappled with a whirlwind of emotions. I wanted to be happy for Lily, but the pain of exclusion weighed heavily on my heart. I found solace in David, who listened patiently as I poured out my feelings. He reminded me that I was worthy of love and respect, regardless of my family's actions. But as the wedding drew closer, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger conflict. The rift between Lily and me was growing, and I had no idea how it would all unfold. As the wedding day approached, I felt a mix of dread and anticipation. I had tried to focus on my work and my relationship with David, but the emotional turmoil surrounding Lily's wedding was inescapable. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was on the brink of something monumental, and I was right. The day after my painful conversation with Lily, I decided to confront my parents again. I needed them to understand how deeply their dismissal of my feelings affected me. I called them, my heart pounding as I prepared to speak my truth. "Mom, Dad, I need to talk to you about Lily's wedding," I began, trying to keep my voice steady. "I'm really hurt that I'm not invited. I thought family was supposed to support each other." My mother's response was immediate and dismissive. "Anna, you're overreacting. It's just a wedding. You'll have plenty of other opportunities to celebrate with her." "Just a wedding?" I echoed, feeling the anger rise within me. "This is a significant moment in her life, and I'm being excluded for no good reason. I deserve to be there just like everyone else." My father chimed in, his tone stern. "You need to understand that Lily is making choices for her happiness. You should respect that." "Respect?" I shot back, my voice rising. "How can I respect her decision when it's based on superficial judgments about my career? I'm her sister. I've always been there for her, and now I feel like I don't matter at all." Their lack of understanding only fueled my frustration. They didn't see the pain I was in, nor did they acknowledge the hurtful dynamics that had been festering for years. I felt like I was fighting a losing battle, and the weight of their indifference was suffocating. After the call, I felt defeated. I had hoped for support, but instead I was met with more dismissal. I confided in David, who listened intently as I shared my feelings of isolation. "You deserve to be treated with love and respect, Anna," he said softly. "Don't let them make you feel less than you are." His words were a balm to my wounded heart, but the reality of my family's actions loomed large. As the wedding day drew closer, I felt a sense of impending doom. I knew that the rift between Lily and me was widening, and I had no idea how to bridge that gap. On the day of the wedding, I received a flurry of messages from family and friends, all buzzing with excitement about the event. I felt like an outsider looking in, my heart heavy with the knowledge that I wouldn't be part of this significant moment. I tried to distract myself with work, but the ache of exclusion was ever present. As the hours passed, I found myself scrolling through social media, watching as my family celebrated Lily's big day without me. The photos flooded in, Lily in her stunning wedding dress, my parents beaming with pride, and friends showering her with love. Each image felt like a dagger to my heart, a reminder of the bond I was missing. In that moment, I realized that this wasn't just about a wedding. It was about the years of feeling unworthy and unseen. I felt a surge of anger and sadness, and I knew I had to take a stand for myself. I couldn't let this moment define me or my worth. With a newfound determination, I decided to confront the situation head-on. I would not allow Lily's actions to dictate my self-esteem any longer. I would find a way to reclaim my narrative, even if it meant facing the painful truth of my family dynamics. As the wedding day unfolded, I felt a mix of anger and sadness swirling within me. I had spent the morning trying to distract myself with work, but the reality of my exclusion weighed heavily on my heart. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing out on something monumental, something that should have included me as a sister. Later that evening, I received a call from Lily. My heart raced as I answered, but I was met with a tone of anger and accusation. "Why did you tell Mom and Dad about our conversation?" she demanded, her voice sharp and defensive. "I didn't tell them anything," I replied, trying to keep my voice calm. "I just expressed how hurt I was about not being invited to your wedding. I thought they would understand." "Understand? They think you're just trying to stir up drama," she shot back. "You're ruining my day, Anna. This is supposed to be a happy occasion." "Ruining your day? I'm not the one who decided to exclude my sister from my wedding," I exclaimed, frustration boiling over. "I'm just trying to express how I feel, and instead I'm being blamed for your choices." Lily's voice grew colder. "You need to stop making everything about you. This is my wedding, and I have to think about what's best for me and Mark." I felt a wave of hurt wash over me. "Lily, I've always supported you. I just wanted to be part of your life, to share in your happiness, but it feels like you don't care about me at all." "Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to make a scene," she replied, her tone dismissive. "I can't deal with this right now. Just stay out of my life." With that, she hung up, leaving me reeling. I felt a mix of anger and heartbreak, realizing that the rift between us had grown deeper than I had ever imagined. I had hoped for a moment of connection, but instead, I was met with hostility and blame. In the days that followed, the fallout from the wedding continued to unfold. I received messages from family members, some expressing their disappointment in me for not being supportive, while others echoed Lily's sentiments. It felt like I was being attacked from all sides, and I struggled to make sense of it all. David stood by me through it all, offering his unwavering support. "You're not responsible for how they treat you, Anna," he reminded me. "You deserve to be treated with love and respect. Don't let their opinions define your worth." His words resonated with me, but the pain of exclusion lingered. I felt like I was losing not just my sister, but my entire family. The emotional toll was heavy, and I found myself questioning everything I had ever known about love and loyalty. As the weeks passed, I decided to take a stand. I couldn't allow Lily's actions to dictate my self-esteem any longer. I reached out to a therapist, seeking guidance on how to navigate the complex emotions surrounding my family dynamics. I needed to understand why I felt so unworthy and how to reclaim my narrative. Through therapy, I began to uncover the deep-seated feelings of inadequacy that had plagued me for years. I realized that my worth was not defined by my family's approval or their perceptions of me. I was a talented designer with dreams and aspirations, and I deserved to pursue them without the weight of their judgment. With each session, I felt a sense of empowerment growing within me. I started to set boundaries with my family, refusing to accept their dismissive attitudes any longer. I focused on my work, pouring my energy into my designs and building my brand. I was determined to create a life that reflected my true self, one that was not overshadowed by the expectations of others. But as I began to reclaim my identity, I knew that the journey ahead would not be easy. The rift with Lily remained, and I had no idea how to bridge that gap. I could only hope that one day she would understand the pain her actions had caused, and that we could find a way back to each other. As I continued my journey of self-discovery and healing, I found solace in my work and the support of David. I poured my heart into my designs, creating a new collection that reflected my growth and resilience. Each piece I crafted was a testament to my journey, a symbol of my determination to rise above the pain of my past. One evening, as I was finalizing my collection, I received a message from Lily. My heart raced as I opened it, unsure of what to expect. "Can we talk?" it read. I felt a mix of hope and apprehension. Was this the moment I had been waiting for? I took a deep breath and replied, "Yes, I'd like that." We agreed to meet at a cafe we used to frequent as kids, a place filled with memories of laughter and sisterly bonding. As I prepared for our meeting, I felt a whirlwind of emotions, nervousness, anticipation, and a flicker of hope. When I arrived at the cafe, I spotted Lily sitting at a corner table, her expression unreadable. I approached cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hey," I said softly, taking a seat across from her. "Hey," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. There was a moment of silence as we both searched for the right words. I could see the tension in her shoulders, and I knew this conversation was going to be difficult. "I wanted to talk about the wedding," she began, her eyes downcast. "I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened, and I realize I hurt you. I'm sorry for how I treated you." My heart swelled with a mix of relief and caution. "Thank you for saying that, Lily. It really hurt to be excluded, especially when I've always been there for you." "I know," she said, her voice trembling. "I was so caught up in my own world and what I thought was best for my wedding that I didn't consider your feelings. I let my insecurities get the best of me." I nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I just wanted to be part of your life, to support you. It felt like I was losing you." Lily looked up, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I don't want to lose you either. You're my sister, and I've missed you. I've been so focused on my own happiness that I forgot how important our relationship is." In that moment, I felt a glimmer of hope. "I've missed you too, Lily. I want us to rebuild our relationship, but it's going to take time and effort from both of us." "I'm willing to do that," she replied earnestly. "I want to understand you better and support your dreams, just like you've always supported mine." As we talked, I felt the walls between us begin to crumble. We shared our feelings, our fears, and our hopes for the future. It was a raw and honest conversation, one that had been long overdue. I could see the sincerity in her eyes, and I felt a sense of healing begin to take place. By the end of our meeting, we had made a pact to work on our relationship. We agreed to communicate openly and support each other's dreams, no matter how different they might be. As we hugged goodbye, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful about our future as sisters. In the weeks that followed our heartfelt conversation, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Lily and I began to reconnect, slowly but surely. We started with small gestures, texting each other about our days, sharing snippets of our lives, and even meeting up for coffee more frequently. It felt like we were cautiously stepping back into a relationship that had been strained for far too long. One afternoon, as we sat in a cozy cafe, I shared my latest design ideas with her. "I'm thinking of launching a new line inspired by our childhood," I said, excitement bubbling in my voice. "It's all about nostalgia and the memories we created together." Lily's eyes lit up. "That sounds amazing. I'd love to help you with it. Maybe I could model for you or help with the marketing." I was taken aback by her enthusiasm. "Really? You'd want to do that?" I asked, a smile spreading across my face. "Of course. I want to support you, Anna. I realize now how important it is to be there for each other," she replied, her sincerity evident. As we brainstormed ideas, I felt a warmth spreading through me. It was as if the bond we once had was slowly being rekindled. I could see the effort Lily was putting in, and it made me hopeful for our future. Around the same time, I decided to take a leap of faith and showcase my new collection at a local fashion show. It was a big step for me, and I wanted Lily to be there, not just as my sister, but as my biggest supporter. I reached out to her, inviting her to attend. "I'd love to come," she responded enthusiastically. "I can't wait to see your designs on the runway." The day of the fashion show arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. As I prepared backstage, I could hear the buzz of the audience outside. I took a deep breath, reminding myself of how far I had come. This was my moment to shine, and I wanted to make it count. When the show began, I felt a rush of adrenaline. As the models walked down the runway showcasing my designs, I caught a glimpse of Lily in the front row, her face beaming with pride. It filled me with joy to see her there, supporting me wholeheartedly. After the show, I rushed to find her. "What did you think?" I asked, my heart racing. "It was incredible, Anna. You're so talented," she exclaimed, pulling me into a tight hug. "I'm so proud of you." In that moment, I felt a sense of validation that I had longed for. It wasn't just about the success of the show, it was about the support of my sister, who had once felt so distant. We celebrated together, laughing and reminiscing about our childhood dreams. As we continued to rebuild our relationship, I realized that healing takes time and effort. There were still moments of tension and misunderstandings, but we were committed to working through them. We learned to communicate openly, expressing our feelings without fear of judgment. One evening, as we sat on my couch, I turned to Lily. "I'm really grateful for how far we've come. I never thought we could get back to this place." "Me too," she replied, her eyes shining with sincerity. "I've learned so much about myself through this process. I want to be a better sister to you." With each passing day, I felt our bond growing stronger. We began to share more of our lives, supporting each other's dreams and aspirations. I could see the changes in Lily, and it filled me with hope for our future. As the months rolled on, the bond between Lily and me continued to flourish. We became each other's confidants, sharing our dreams, fears, and aspirations. I felt a sense of joy that I hadn't experienced in years, and it was all thanks to our commitment to rebuilding our relationship. One day, as we were having lunch together, Lily surprised me with an idea. "What if we collaborated on a project? I could help you with the marketing side of your fashion line, and we could create something truly special together." I was taken aback by her suggestion. "You really want to work together?" I asked, my heart swelling with excitement. "Absolutely. I think it would be amazing to combine our talents. Plus, it would be a great way to strengthen our bond even more," she replied, her enthusiasm infectious. We spent the next few weeks brainstorming and planning our collaboration. We decided to create a limited edition collection that celebrated sisterhood, featuring designs that reflected our shared experiences and memories. It was a labor of love, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose as we worked side by side. As we launched our collection, the response was overwhelming. People resonated with the story behind our designs, and the support we received from friends, family, and even strangers was heartwarming. It felt incredible to see our hard work pay off, and I knew that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. One evening, after a successful launch event, we sat together reflecting on our journey. "I can't believe how far we've come," I said, a smile spreading across my face. "It feels like we've not only rebuilt our relationship, but also created something meaningful together." Lily nodded, her eyes glistening with emotion. "I'm so grateful for this second chance, Anna. I've learned so much about the importance of family and support. I never want to take our relationship for granted again." As we clinked our glasses in celebration, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. The pain of the past had transformed into a source of strength, and I knew that our bond was unbreakable. We had faced challenges, but we had emerged stronger and more connected than ever. In the months that followed, our collaboration continued to thrive. We received invitations to showcase our collection at various events, and our story began to inspire others. I realized that our journey was not just about fashion. It was about healing, forgiveness, and the power of sisterhood. As I stood backstage at one of our fashion shows, watching the models walk down the runway in our designs, I felt a wave of gratitude. I had not only found my voice as a designer, but had also rediscovered the importance of family. I turned to Lily, who was standing beside me, and smiled. "We did this together." She beamed back at me, her eyes filled with pride. Yes, we did, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us next. With our hearts full of hope and excitement, we stepped into the future together, ready to embrace whatever challenges and triumphs lay ahead. Our bond as sisters had been tested, but it had emerged stronger, and I knew that we would always support each other, no matter what.